welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified podcast. Today is February 21st, 2021. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, boy?
Dude.
Oh my gosh, man, it's been crazy.
It's been a crazy last day. The last 24 hours alone probably were one of the most insane moments that we had in Pokemon Go history. I do want to say that I'm sorry that I'm sniffing and everything. I think I'm getting sick, and that's probably because of all the excitement we had in the last day and so. If you hear me sniffing for a couple of times today in the podcast, do forgive me. It is part of the grind. So yes, we are here to once again to talk about Pokemon Go, all the news, updates, and ranting about the game because we love the game just as much as you do. I want to say thank you so much for the Purified podcast, or not the Purified podcast. What am I talking about? I'm going crazy already.
Thank you ourselves.
I know, right? Thank you to ourselves. Yeah. Thank you to the Professor Network for always working with us for a lot of different things and always hosting us for many awesome things. I do have to work on the YouTube side though, but we'll see those eventually. But yeah, so we gotta start talking because there's so much to talk about. But real quick, Chris, how was your week so far?
Dude, before yesterday wasn't too crazy. Oh my gosh, though, I cannot wait to talk about yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also running instance right now because I do want to get some catches done. Hopefully, to be able to, show you the messiness that we are having right now. Mm-hmm. But I guess with everything out of the way, let's go ahead and shift the gears to recap probably one of the best events we actually had in Pokemon Go history in a long time. So, Chris, first and foremost, I guess I shouldn't really talk about the shinies yet. Do you have any hundos?
Maybe just numbers. Let me see. I actually don't remember. It seems like all I get are 98s. That's all I get.
Yeah.
But yeah, no hundos. Other than the stuff we had going on yesterday, I was able to snag a shiny Jigglypuff and Latias.
Nice.
Latias being new for me. So that was cool.
Was that a trade?
No, from a raid.
Oh, nice.
Which was a little bit ago. I lucky traded for a few different shinies. The high point, in my opinion, being a 93 shiny Giratina altered form.
Nice.
Like 12 attack though. Ew.
Oh
wait, 13 attack. I think it's a 96 actually.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then today I got a Pikachu.
Ah. Well,
I could have just left out the Pikachu. But.
Yeah, well, I mean, as for myself, I got one hundo from yesterday, and it was a Chansey. I was hoping for a green Chansey, but of course, that didn't happen. We'll definitely talk about that for sure. And as for shinies before, I'm actually going to hide my screen for this because I don't want you guys to know what shinies I have at the moment. I mean, just because you guys probably don't know. I did get a shiny Jigglypuff at the same time you did, or probably the same day or the day afterwards. I did get also, I think, a Weedle. Yeah, no, I think that was last week or something, right? When was the 15th? Oh, that was Monday. Yes, okay, so the guy that Weedle, I traded for Magikarp, and then after everything else was that what we're going to be talking about in just a second here. First and foremost, please be a shiny Sphero. No, it was not a shiny Sphero.
Not in front of me, please.
I know, right? All right, so about to talk things. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Time to talk about one of the greatest events we had in a long time. And in all honesty, I know that a lot of people can say differently. A lot of people can actually say that it was probably one of the worst. And probably one of the most money grab. But we'll talk about all the cons and everything afterwards. There's definitely a lot to discuss when it comes to the event itself. The Pokemon Go Tour, or Kanto Tour, I guess I should call it. It was finally yesterday. So we had 12 hours of spawns, and it was probably one of the greatest thing in the world. I felt like I was back to the good old days when I was a kid, and I was playing like the regular version. The only reason why I say that is because you get to listen to the music. I actually put the music on, and I knew about the music and everything. And dude, I just felt like I was an actual Pokemon trainer back in 1999 or in the 2000s or whatever I started playing Pokemon. So I played with the music on the entire day, and trust me, it was probably the best feelings in the world. I will get to you the beginning of the story, but I do want to actually give my boy Chris here. How did it go for you, or at least the beginnings of it?
I was at my house for a little bit. As you guys know, I did a lot of preparation for a wedding I was going to, so I didn't get to go as ham as I would have liked to go. But definitely did a ton of raids, more than I should have done probably. But I don't get many chances to get the regionals. It's actually kind of funny. We can't even get Tauros where we're at. Um, but I will say the shinies, when they started coming, it definitely picked up. And it was definitely really nice. You want me to talk about the shinies I got too?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, that's fine, because I have a good story to tell.
Okay, I'll just go through number wise. Just to make it easy on myself. I was able to snag a shiny Mewtwo like the day before.
Oh, nice.
I kind of want to clump that together with it because it was a Side Strike Mewtwo.
And it was from the event
And then,
in other parts of the world, so yes, you can count that.
Exactly. And I start off. It was very interesting to me because I picked the Fire Red version. I start off with a shiny Bulbasaur of all things. Like what in the world?
I mean,
and
you got to start with the beginning,
the number one, yeah.
Yeah, number one.
And then after that, I got back-to-back Pidgeys, one of them being a level 1. So I was like, don't mind if I do.
Oh, nice.
2 shiny Oddish, so I know my family's full now.
Yeah.
2 shiny Makeys, 2 shiny Growlithe, a really high shiny Machop, always a fan of him. A really high CP shiny Onix, 2 Hitmonlees, so I'm able to trade someone for Hitmonchan. A shiny Lickitung, a shiny Terry.
Nice.
And a Rhyhorn, a Scyther. I really want another Scyther, so I'm happy about that. And then a shiny Magikarp to end it.
All right, so your haul was pretty good.
So that was kind of weird.
How many shinies you get in total then?
I think I counted 17.
17?
I think it was 17.
Okay, that's
so
actually
I didn't
pretty
hit
good.
Like a lot, but I didn't get to play for like 4 hours. So I was pretty happy with
that. Definitely. Then after that, you went to your wedding and then and done.
And then Julie slapped my hand if I touched my phone.
I would have just run the Gold Plus the entire time, but
I wanted to, but my phone was dead. Oh my gosh. What you got for me, man?
So, and congratulations, Papercut, for that Shando Geodude. I mean, we did see it on the Discord, so congratulations on that. That was actually pretty cool. So, this is my story. So, I began the day. I knew I was going to play the 12 hours as much as possible. So, I go, a friend of mine texted me yesterday and said, hey, or the day before, and said, hey, I know you're playing the event. You want to just go ahead and hang out for the rest of the day? And I'm like, cool, yeah. I was going to be by myself, I was not going to really meet up with anybody or anything at the time of. So we plan it out. We go to Wrigley Museum in Sarasota, and that was the very first time I actually go there for an actual like event. So it was kind of like new to me, brand new spot or brand new Pokestops and everything too. So I was able to like really grind it out. So I get there a couple minutes before my friend gets there, and cool. So the event starts at 9. I'm putting everything on. So I'm like getting like all my incense on, all my lucky eggs, all my star pieces for the next few hours. And I was like, okay, let's see how well, it goes. So he and I, we start walking. We're in the parking lot, and a Lapras spawns. And I'm literally looking at him. It's like, oh, a Lapras. Hey, let's see shiny. And it's shiny. My very first Pokemon of the tour was a shiny Lapras. Dude, I could not believe it. My friend was literally raging from it.
That is a good one to start it with.
Yeah, so I was like, dude, this is going to be amazing. Me and my friend, we just started walking. At first, I didn't actually open the place until 10, but there was a couple places we could go around it. I was surprised that when I started doing some of the challenges, like, the amazing part of it is that they give you so many Pokeballs. I thought I was going to run out of Pokeballs and Great Balls and Ultra Balls the entire time. Dude, I had like abundance of it. I actually had max storage for a while because I just could not get more Pokeballs from everything.
I'm so glad they did it like that because I thought I was going to run out.
Yeah. So I was able to continue on having enough with the Gold Plus, and even afterwards, I still have like over 700 Pokeballs, which is actually amazing. Yeah, so I was able to get through that and, do all the battles and everything. So I started getting shinies little by little. My friend also started getting shinies and everything. So from then on, the event was just like all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and, as I said, I started with the Lapras, which again, beautiful shiny. First click. Literally the very first click of the day. Now, I didn't need to click on anything before. I didn't even put my Gold Plus at the time. I thought I needed to actually keep it off catches because I wanted to check everything, So
did you put it at that CP?
No, it was actually that CP.
Interesting.
I know, right?
1490.
I know it's not even like, oh well, actually it is good PvP IVs. I forgot about that too. It's a 5 14 14.
By all means.
By all means, I'll take it. Hold on, I gotta get to this Skarmory. So I got that. We started walking. I get the Tangela, I think is the next one in the list, I believe.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm getting the green shinies, the purple shinies. I was like, I'm set to go. So they goes on. I go plus a Bulbasaur. I go plus a Meowth. I get a shiny Mewtwo. My friend actually looked me with disgust because he doesn't have one yet. Yes, I think I want to. Another Gold Plus Bulbasaur. I Gold Plus a Bellsprout, a Vulpix, Tangela, another Bulbasaur, a Coffin. Actually, if I think about it, almost every single shiny in this list is Gold Plus. Like, almost. There's only a few. I mean, the Clefairy I'm happy about. I got Mr. Mime. Again. I hatched a Machop. Gold Plus a Geodude. I traded for a Mankey, my friend. I Gold Plus a Reinhardt, of course. I was able to check for the Hitmonchan. Thank God I got that. And then I Gold Plus 2 more Coffins. Another Meowth, which I already evolved. I also Gold Plus actually the Meowth in the center was also Gold Plus because I was doing raids too. I did get a shiny Tauros. So that's amazing. I did actually catch this Dratini, shiny Dratini, and now it's a Dragonair. It's a 0, 14, 15, rank 4 for Grey League. So that was beautiful to see. That was beautiful.
That's a monster.
I know. I was actually really happy about that catch because when I checked the IVs, I was like, hold on, what are these? I'm like, I think I was close to the rank 1. I mean, it is rank 4, so yes.
Dude, yeah, rank 4 is nothing to sneeze at for sure.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where I'm finally gonna say, hey, we finally got there. Anyways, so in total, I got 33 shinies. The day after that, I got a Charmander, which is today in the morning, like an hour before the post event started, and I hatched another Machop right after that. So technically 35 shinies if you count those. But yeah, no, it was just amazing because I turn on the game, I turn on the music, I walk around. Literally every time the hour started, I'm in a different part of the city or in the different part of the game's functions of music, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm real Pokemon trainer right now. Like real Pokemon trainer right now, just grinding through the game, catching as much as I can. Gold Plusing literally a lot of my shinies for sure. I was happy about a few of them. I think the Bellsprout was not Gold Plus, if I remember correctly, but the Bellsprout, I did click on it, it was shiny, so I was actually pretty fun about that. So yeah, yeah. So after that, I went over to another part of town to make sure that I continue. Me and my friend separated after probably the first roundabout of catches. I think we actually went up to 5 o'clock, and then during Sterling City water spawns, we actually said let's relocate. He and I, we wanted to go our separate ways. I've met up with another friend in another part of the city and just continue gold plusing and just catching and grading and doing whatever I can. My legs are sore because I can't. I worked for almost close to 12 hours. I did rest probably an hour, and of course I did get lunch and everything, but at that point, I didn't even need food. By the time I got home, I probably ate some McDonald's and then just like passed out. I passed out after that.
It was chilly yesterday too.
Oh,
for being
yes.
a Florida.
I'm sorry to say to everybody who was not having this perfect weather, we had probably the best weather for yesterday's event. The best weather. It was nice and chilly in the morning. Then it warmed up the afternoon. You still can wear a hoodie or whatever. And, throughout the day, I was just like... And I was actually walking by the water, too. So...
Yeah, yesterday was horrible. So it was definitely a pleasant surprise.
Yes, definitely. The day before, technically. Because it was shiny. It was raining and cloudy and just like one of those days. But I'm so glad that when Go Fest came around... Or Go Fest, what am I talking about? But Pokemon Tour...
Felt like Go Fest.
I know, right? So the tour itself was actually just pretty fun to just go out and play. And of course, I did it safely. Most of the time I was wearing a mask. So was playing safely, not interacting with many people. Not a lot of people in the first location was playing. It was a museum, so it really wasn't that much. And then the second part, I did see a lot of people without masks. So I was just like trying to make sure that I stay away, aside from me and my friends, So yeah, I had a wonderful time for 12 hours. That was the first time I really actually grinded I really grinded since Go Fest 2019, where we really grinded 10 hours or so. Remember those days, Chris?
Oh my gosh, dude. I used to play almost every single night going till like 1 a.m. It was crazy.
Yeah, so... Yeah.
Not anymore, though.
So I rate the Go Tour experience a good 9 out of 10 because aside from some cons that we're gonna be talking about definitely in the next section here, everything else throughout the event was just great. The spawns were great. I know the raids could have been a little bit better, but we did see that most of the legendaries were there. They were rotating every 25 minutes, so there wasn't really that much time in between to have to wait. They were spawning literally 4 or 5 minutes before, and then, just there's hash and they're ready to go. Regionals were, okay in some regards. But we'll definitely be talking about the cons in just a moment. So, Chris, what about you? What do you really rate this event for you?
The things I loved about this event were definitely the variety. I like that they split it up into different hours.
Yes.
I know a lot of people want to get it done ASAP, get it out as soon as possible. I think it's good to prolong it when it's done in a way that it isn't needlessly long. But if they put all the Pokemon into one spawn pool, it would have been horrible because some people would have re-rolled the same Pokemon over and over again. Just Bulbasaur,
Yeah,
just over and over again.
That's true.
So I definitely like the way they did it.
Yeah. So, real quick, do want to mention let me just make sure this Pokemon is not shiny. Thank God it wasn't. I mean, thank God. Thank God. You know what I meant.
You hate shiny.
Yeah, I hate Chinese. So we did have the whole collection challenge to do. So if depending on your version, you have to catch the ones from UNSS and then trade the ones from the other version. Simple and easy. As long as you have a person with the other version, it wasn't too much of a problem. That will also, of course, help you complete it, all 150 Pokemon that you have to catch. So just like Chris mentioned, they divided the spawns depending on the hour. The music also changes through that. So Pallet Town, Fury City, Cerulean City, Fuchsia City, and the Pokemon League were all spawning different types of Pokemons. And then, of course, you have the research that you could do with Lickitung, Chansey, and all those types that usually doesn't spawn. Even Ditto, of course, you get Shiny Ditto through that. And then the Ray ones, which is the regionals and the legendaries, which we'll definitely be talking about the regionals in a second. And then all of your evolutions. So basically, have to evolve one of each up to a full max evolutions, which again, it wasn't too bad as long as you were catching most of them. And I do gotta emphasize, I did run out of space at the end of the event and I even had to actually delete at least 100 or so Pokemons from my storage before I actually get to that point, because I knew I was gonna get to that point, you know. And then also,
it was bad for me too.
Yeah. Papercut also mentions here that they gave us free 200 Pokeballs in the shop for free, like no lie, and then 50 free Pokemons that can be purchased 4 times. So that's like, you really could not run out of storage at that point, you know. Some people were actually struggling. I had a lot of my friends actually said, I have too many items, I cannot spin stops or anything.
It was a crazy time, man. I was not expecting that many items, honestly.
Yeah, I was not either. I was thinking that I was going to run out pretty soon, but I didn't, so I'm actually happy with it. And I still have more to continue on my grind for the next few days. One more thing I did actually love about yesterday is that I reached level 47. I finally got to that level. I finally ran out of my extra experience, so that also didn't actually help it. I'm going to have to grind out experience from here on out. It's going to take me a little bit to get to that point at least. But I'm not too far. I just need to, you know, put a lucky egg when I'm doing a lot of raids and everything. So we'll see how that one goes. Terry says they didn't use the free Pokeballs, didn't have the space. Grinded out the Ultra Balls before then, I guess. Just catch everything. So yeah.
He probably had no Pokeballs. He was good.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it was definitely an event that I will probably never forget. One that really gets out me and going. And it felt probably the Go Fest that we were hoping to have last year. Of course, it would have been a lot better if we could actually meet up more people. But of course, pandemic doesn't allow that. Everybody play in their own city. I think only Fliskin flew somewhere else. But again, those, you know, they are really good over there over pandemic and everything. So, so yeah. Aside from that, really, we'll talk about the cons in just a second. Anything else that you want to add, Chris, on the good size?
Yeah. Let me finish up what I thought was good. I got plenty to say that it could have been improved. That doesn't mean I didn't love it though. I definitely give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
For like how great the event was. Shiny rates were insanely good.
Yes.
It wasn't like calm day rates. It shouldn't be though. It shouldn't be. You should be like grinding for these events, in my opinion. Yeah. So it was very, very fun to play.
Definitely. So now that we got the good out of the way, we'll definitely talk about what's going on right now, right at the time of recording this podcast. So there is a post-event. So if you didn't actually complete some of the challenges or some of the catches, of course, you still have until the end of this month to complete them during Pokemon Day. And then, of course, you know, all of that to make sure that you are able to complete most of the collection challenges, aside from the raid ones. And that's one of the concepts we're going to be talking about right now. That if you did not do the regionals in raids, I'm sorry to say they are not going to be in raids right now. And if you didn't rate them on that day, you are screwed. I'm sorry to say that.
Did you say there was going to be a redo day?
Yes. I was going to talk about this in the actual bonus part of the it, or not a bonus, but the research topics of the day. But that's because of everything that's going on. I guess since you already mentioned it, it's going through. There were some problems with purchasing the tickets of the day of the event, and there were some lag issues that we'll definitely be talking about. So Niantic did decide that anybody with a ticket will actually have a bonus day to complete some of the things. So maybe a bonus run, just like Terry says, which is good. We don't have full details of how it's going to work yet. So do forgive us for doing that. They just told us, you know, there were some problems. This is what it was going to do. And I mean, I'm okay with probably doing a couple extra things. It's not that I'm not gonna do it. I mean, if they give us the option, that's what we're gonna do.
If you didn't get your regional
Yes,
now.
yes. Just for the collection challenge itself. So it's not bad. It's not bad. All right, so we got all of that out of the way. We have the post event, Kanto event happening now. There are a few extra things that we'll talk about in the news, but before we do that, let's discuss of what really was the bad of the tour event. And Chris, I know you have some things to say, so I'll let you go first.
I'll pretty much list it. I know you probably agree with a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. I love the trainers that they put in the character like each of the characters that
The contest.
were actual people at each of the Pokestops. The fact that you have to talk to them each time you spin it, I already don't like the Team Go Rocket. I don't want to talk to other people when I'm just trying to get items,
Yeah.
So if there was a way to bypass that, so you didn't have to talk to them every single time you spun a stop, other than like a Pokemon Go Plus or a Gacha, that'd be amazing. I did think they were cool, but yeah, no, that was super annoying. The fact that you have to raid for regionals, that was something I know that we were talking about that was kind of annoying for a lot of people because you got to use your passes on that.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some other things that we weren't liking. Is there anything you have on your mind?
Yes, there are a few things, and I do agree about everything you said. I think that one of the solutions they could have done with the actual personas or the NPCs in the map is to spread it out a little bit more than having them all in every single Pokestop. Because having to, like just as you say, having to actually talk to them every single time you spin something, that was really annoying about the event, and especially because they take up part of the map too when you're trying to click on Pokemons that you wanted to catch. Or check, like there was a lot of times my friend said, I'm trying to click on this Hitmonlee, but the person is there, so I have to move around the screen and everything. So it was annoying. Trust me. I mean, I'm a veteran in this game, so I kind of know when it comes to that, since the Rocket also does the same thing. So it kind of makes to the point where I knew how to switch over my camera and then just click on the Pokemon itself. But yeah, it was annoying to do that when you're trying to grind out as much as possible. So again, it would be better to just like spread them out, not put them at every single Pokestop, but at least throughout most of them, or have a specific places where they're going to be, so they know that you can go there, restock, and then just continue on the tour of the adventure. So I think that would have been just a tiny bit easier in those sense when it comes to those. Now the raids. That was something that I felt it could have been handled a bit better. We understand legendaries and do raids for legendaries. Do know they did give us, from 5 to 10 free raid passes to do most of the raids. So you needed to be in person for free raid passes. It wasn't remote, although they did give us free remote raid passes through that anyways. So it wasn't too bad either in that regard. But the regionals, we had regional spawn worldwide for a long time through past events. We had them in X, which also could have been, useful in that regard. But I don't know, man. Just having it in raids was not the move that I felt like they should have done. If it was raids and research, then somebody would have been able to pick between the two. I know most of the free people will try to do the research, but there wasn't any research aside from Snorlax or a couple of other Pokemon you needed to catch. That it was annoying. There was no bonus on hatch distance. There was no bonus on Stardust or experience. There was just catching, and grinding, basically. So yes, you want to make the feel back to the previous or to the first time we actually played Pokemon in our lives, but still, we could have done just a little bit better. Again, this is not a Go Fest, so it's not celebrating the anniversary of Pokemon. It's celebrating Pokemon itself, just the very first thing and everything. So, in all sense, I think that regionals could have done a little bit better in other regards. Another thing that I know that a lot of people complain is that there was a moment where they did say 24 hours prior to the event that they were going to release the full details of what the event is like and what you were going to expect. There was also a moment, I think it was 24 hours for us, but it was literally probably hours before the ones in Australia and the very beginning parts of the world. And this is basically what they did. They said, hey, here's what you need to know and what you need to do. The version exclusives, the or version selection, collection challenges that will begin during the event, and you got until the 28th to complete. The special research, the Master War research, which is the Mew quest, Shiny Mew quest. Mm-hmm. Some free items, like the 200 Pokeballs we mentioned. The extra daily pass, you can claim up to 9 daily free passes during the event. So if you actually stack them up, you can get up to 10 or 11. Well, actually 10, because you have one from previous time, so yes. Mm-hmm. And then Incest will attract the Pokemon attracted to this crucial version. We knew about that. And then we had social media, of course. Social media, they were telling us, hey, share us your adventure and everything like that. And then they also said, free ticket holders and everything, or free ticket people who wanted to just, go through that. You can also play. You will definitely see the raids throughout the day, so that wasn't too bad on free-to-play players. They don't want to pay for the ticket or anything like that. So that was good. There were some questions in the Niantic post, some Q&A or questions and answers or whatever it is, a fact page on Niantic support sites. They said how to play and everything. There was a little controversy on this because people were saying, or the Niantic was saying, you do not need to trade to complete the challenges, which is false. We do need to trade. There was, especially in the special research to get Shiny Ditto, you need to trade with three times. With it didn't matter what it was to trade for. You need to trade it to complete the challenges. So it's kind of like a bummer when it comes down to that. And a lot of people were actually like saying, you kind of screw us because there's a lot of people out there in the world that don't have the friends or the ability to trade with people because either they're snowed in, they're COVID quarantine, or any other problems. I know that the United States is having one of the worst snowstorms in history of existence right now in the north. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're lucky enough to be in Florida, but I know a lot of people were snowed in the last few days, and it was just crazy. There, places, pipes bursting and things like that. So it was really bad. So when they actually, were able to play, maybe they weren't happy that they couldn't go out and everything. Though, noted, we did have 40 kilometers distance. So unless you really were able to plan it out with other people, that's a different story. So in overall...
Yeah, you and I, we were good to go if we needed to.
Yeah. And luckily enough, we know a lot of us in Discord and everything through our community, we, built up a community since the beginning of Pokemon days. So it wasn't that bad in our regard, but I know a lot of people were actually feeling that. And unless you have friends around the world, you also weren't able to rate most of the regionals or the legendaries out there. So in all sense, that was the only part that I felt like it was bad. And then after that, there were some issues and some lag issues, but I think that's because everybody was opening the game at the same time. So either that.
Yeah, there's a few times I couldn't even trade.
Yeah, and I was a few times I couldn't even invite anybody because my friends list wasn't working. It was like technically the same as GoFest at that point,
I will say I didn't think it was like as unplayable as GoFest, but it was annoying. Even for the short periods we couldn't do stuff like that.
Yeah. So, and honestly, Niantic does know that they listen to feedback as much as possible. So,
oh yeah,
there is a survey going out to players who actually participated in the event. I think either through email or Twitter or whatever. Telling us how the event go for them. And even Chris here, actually, the discussion is, out of 10 votes on Twitter, 40% loved the event, 50% could have been better, and 10%, the event was not even all they wanted. I know a lot of people, I go to Twitter every day to check on news and, things that I want to see, follow people that I love to follow. But I also see a lot of people actually just complaining. And that's because they thought that they were going to get like all the shinies in the world. You can't base the game on the shinies. That's not how the game works. It was the experience. And I think Ken from Lurap actually summarized this the best. it wasn't really about the shinies. The shinies were just a plus. I mean, it was amazing to see shinies all around and things, and new shinies that we never saw, especially all in ones. But it was the experience for me. The experience was like I'm really playing Pokemon here. The music, the spawns, the raids, everything was just making like that was the experience. Able to play outside, even though safely, but still able to play outside and feel like a trainer myself. That was what's good about the event. So. What about you, Chris? What do you think? Was it the shinies or the whatever else that we mentioned throughout this?
I think some people expected to come into here and get every new shiny that they could. I was a little bit overhyped. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you'd be able to encounter evolved forms of Pokemon shiny, like how we can encounter shiny Charizard because of the Mega.
Right.
I was theorizing you could encounter like Charmeleon or something as shiny now. It doesn't look like that's the case.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I'm a little bit sad about that, but it would definitely hurt the spawns a little bit if we had that many Pokemon spawning, especially since they had an increase for the first evolutions.
Yeah.
So it would have been kind of silly to have the second Evo a lot of times, or even the third Evo.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that they could have been better. At least I also agree to that. The very first time that they announced the event was like, hey, you'll be able to catch all 150 Pokemons. I'm like, yes, you were able to get all 150 Pokemons, but it wasn't through different means. Some of them spawns, some of them raids, some of them research, and some of them just luck of the draw, I guess. But everything that you did yesterday, if you were able to do all of that, if you prioritize your race through the regionals and the legendaries, and then just catch everything else in the wild, the evolutions were easy. You were able to complete all 150. So it wasn't really that bad when it comes down to it. It was just, at the same time, all the people that really follow, I want to actually get their opinion on how it went, but some of them are just, I feel like they're just whining at this point. It's like, there's no point of doing that if you're just going to play the event anyways. And then, say, I want a refund for because, that was I only got 2 or 3 shinies at that point. I'm like, no, this is not how it works.
I think people think they're entitled to get, like, their personal best for shinies each event or something.
Yeah.
If I didn't get a new shiny, it's a failed event. Something like that.
Yeah.
I think the 2 things that they could have done, in my opinion, to improve this, and I'm still saying I give this a 9 out of 10 event-wise, is they could have told us exactly what we were getting for what we paid a little bit sooner. They were hyping it up, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
But we didn't find out about it till, like, exactly what was going on till the day before.
Yes.
And that was way too late. But also, I would have liked to see, I don't know how hard it would be to implement, but I'd like to see an event where we can set it ourselves when we want to start and end it, where we can open up the ticket at any time. Terry said himself the weather was cold, but I don't think we'd be able to like go like months apart. I think it would be cool if it was like Go Fest where you could choose a certain day, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Right, definitely. And yeah, it will be hard to implement something like that because you can just save it up into the time that you want to, giving you probably a limited time period to finish it. Let's say, you buy the ticket and then you open it up, let's say Tuesday instead of Saturday. And, you're able to play through the things. It will just be harder to do depending on, the rates and things like that. I know a lot of people were complaining that, was probably a little money grab, but, they gave you plenty of time, 12 hours to say the least, to 12 hours to finish this. And also they gave you at least 10 free remote raid passes. So unless you were out, and yes, I know there are people out there, they were snowed in or stuck at home because of a lot of different things. I know those people were probably a little bit worse, but then you have to manage those types of events a little bit better if you know where to go and what to do. If you could do the raids with other people or globally, because remote raiding is a global thing. You know, just plan out the things that you're gonna do. You're gonna raid. There's not much difference there. But we didn't, like, just to say, we did not know about those types of moments until 24 hours before the event. So yes, Niantic could actually put more information a little earlier so we can plan it out a little bit better. But then again, it's just like, it's some sense that we see Niantic screw up and do good things in the last 4 or 5 years of this game. So
I do see them taking the information and implementing it into the future events.
Yes.
I do see them do that a lot.
We're definitely not going to have another tour event anytime soon, since this is the reason why we had it is because of the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. And, this next week is also going to be another crazy one. Pokemon Go-wise, or not Pokemon Go-wise, but Pokemon itself and all the other franchises. So it's going to be crazy how it goes. But just like this, showing like maybe a GoFest in the future, something similar where we'll be able to know what we're getting, sometime before the event starts. And then of course, buy the tickets, because I know people plan it out months in advance for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so now that we talked about the cons, we talked about the good, and we talked about how it is and our ratings for this event. Now let's get to the research topics of the week, because we have still some news to talk about before this end of this podcast. We did talk about the bonus day event makeup time. That's gotta be for all ticket holders, so just make sure you remember that. But what is the next piece of news we're gonna be talking about here, Chris?
Oh boy. A little birdie told me that March Community Day is going to be featuring Fletchling. We actually get a new Pokemon with an amazing shiny. Okay, not that amazing, but I am hyped for it.
Yes. Fletchling Community Day, it's coming for the next month's Community Day, March, which is actually on March 6th, which is the very first week of March, too. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. I can plan 4 weeks in advance at this point. I'm probably going to be working that Saturday, so... but I will be working until at least 2 or so, and then I'll be able to grind out the rest of the events, which is not bad. Anyways, before we actually get to the renting of this event, let's talk about the features and the things that we're going to have on Fletchling Community Day. Now, we did get a teaser from Niantic earlier the week about this Community Day, and we were like, the funny things in the world happen in the internet when that was announced, because, they announced it with a picture of some footprints in the center grass, and we were like, okay, so this is a bird, definitely a bird Pokemon, and everybody was like scanning through literally every single bird in the entire in all 7 generations we have. There were even some memes, and that was just hilarious to see, of like Pikachu like holding like some bird feet on his on his arms and just walking around with that. Or a Gibble with the bird feet and everything. I'm just like, really, internet? This is how you say this? But then next day, or sometimes a couple hours after that, they did tweet it out a hint, which said that this Pokemon is originating Pokemon from the Kalos region. So at that point, all speculation went to, to the trash, and then we knew what Pokemon it was. So Fletchling Community Day will start on Saturday, March 6th. Of 2021 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Of course, Fletchling will be more frequently in the wild. You'll encounter a shiny one if you're lucky. Evolve Fletchling, which is the evolved form of Fletchling, to Talonflame to know the move Incinerate. Which, Chris, can you tell me anything good about that move?
I'm actually curious if it makes it any better. I mean, the main thing is a confusion clone. So it is a, is it a 3-turn or 4-turn?
It's a 4-turn.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not very good at that. But
just a 4-turn depending on the charge move.
I think it's 4-turn, yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, Talonflame is ranked 219.
Okay.
With Fire Spin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change its move to Incinerate, and I'm going to see if it gets any higher. It has a very interesting ability. It would normally be kind of like a Charizard clone, but the fact that it can increase its damage with Flame Charge is actually really interesting because even if your opponent's shield, you can still end up beating them down with just fast move pressure. So the fact that Incinerate hits so hard is going to make it very, very tough to deal with for a
Yeah,
lot of people.
that's for sure. That is for sure.
Oh,
What's up?
so its win rate with Fire Spin is 59.3 in Great League.
Okay.
Its win rate with Incinerate is 73%.
Oh, that's a good
So
increase.
Incinerate is just a little good.
Yeah,
A
it
little
is
good.
good. Depending on the matchup and everything, then yes, that will make Sitter or Fletchler or Talonflame just another powerhouse in the meta. We'll see how it goes. With definitely when people start using it a little bit more, but things like that. So yes, PvP wise, that's usually what you want. Of course, I'm happy about the shiny. I love Fletchler and Talonflame. I literally like almost a Generation 6 anyways, so I'm probably going to say that every time. And then a few snapshots during the community day for a surprise, just like we know, probably 5 snapshots to see a Fletchling. They could be shiny. Special one-time purchase tickets for $1, which is the special story, The Bravest Bird. That's a pretty cool name. And then,
I do like that too.
Yeah. Of course, the community day box in containing the Elite Fast TM this time around. Some other things, of course. And the bonuses for this event will be 3 times catch experience. So
I didn't care about XP until they made level 50.
yeah. I'll definitely be grinding that out, even if I'm at work. I'll definitely have the Gold Plus running the entire time, probably. So there's not much difference there. In all honesty, the only thing that I'm hoping that they will be able to fix on Fletchler is the catch rate, because I know the catch rate right now on that little bird is horrendous. But yeah,
the catch rates for any of those new Unova Pokemon are just gross.
no, Kalos Pokemon, the Kalos ones.
Yeah, noob. Sorry.
I knew about that, but yeah, that's one thing, and that's March Community Day, Fletchler. Now I know there's a lot of controversy when it comes down to it. There's a lot of people are saying it's good because it's a new shiny, it's a new Pokemon, it's just been released, it's kind of good. So they're kind of like breaking their cycle, because I know we still have a ton of Gen 5 to go through.
Crazy. We just got it.
Yeah, so that's one of the controversies when it comes down to it. Terry will definitely talk about that later today for sure. But then there is the other side where they say this is just a Route 1 bird. And I'm like, okay. Route 1 bird, it's, PG and Starly and all those. So having a bird as a community day still doesn't sound that great. But again, it's bright and shiny and all that. So
I was thinking about that too. I was like, what other bird would it be? Maybe Starly, but Starly already has a good moveset, so unless they give it like Gust.
People were like, people were really hoping for Peachy. There's a lot of people that wanted Peachy too.
Really? Yeah. That's funny.
And one of the reasons why is because a lot of people were seeing the data mine from data miners. They said that there's a move that PG only knows, and that was like Feather Dance, I think, which doesn't really have a move like a attacking move on it, but it's more like a a boosting move and all that. However, people were thinking, oh, okay, so this is what community day is going to be, PG community day, and I'm like, no, please no, no, this thing no. Don't forget to evolve a PG throughout the event to make sure that you get, or Pidgeot, Mega Evolve a Pidgeot through the event to get the extra Mega Energy for it. So yeah, that is of course Fletchling Community Day. But then we have another piece of news that we also got to cover. Chris, you want to talk about this one?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm kind of sad, but we're gonna be closing out the Pokemon Day weekend with a Kanto themed raid day. Closing out the Pokemon day weekend festivities with a Kanto-themed raid day. And it's going to be featuring everyone's favorite legendary birds from Sunday, February 28th to at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. Oh my gosh, man. I'm kind of sad that they're taking Mewtwo out of it for this, to be honest.
Well, we are still having Mewtwo for a good amount of time. This is only on Sunday, which is the last of the days events for the week. And of course, the last Sunday of the month. The features, just like Chris has mentioned, we do have Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres in 5-star race for the 3-hour duration. And of course, if you're lucky, you get a shiny one. We had those already, actually. Then we have here in importance that Giovanni will be returning this time around with a different Shadow Legendary Pokemon in his clutches. Get ready to complete a brand new Team Go Rocket special research to save this Pokemon trainer. Now that is probably the good thing of this event.
That's what I'm hyped about, man.
Yes.
I want to see it for PvP, man.
Yes, definitely. A lot of people are actually speculating that he's gonna have Lugia this time around, and I hope it's Lugia from the X and XD Gale of Darkness Lugia, because that one will be insanely good.
Dude, that'd be the perfect way to wrap up Pokemon Day.
Yeah, basically with
and all that.
Yeah. We'll also be able to pick up a free bundle of 3 remote raid passes in the shop starting on Saturday, February 27 until the time of March 1st. So make sure you pick those up when they're in the shop. You can earn up to free remote or free regular raid passes by spinning the focus tips during the hours of the event. During the event period, you can use a charged TM to help a shadow Pokemon forget the charged attack frustration. And then the grunts will be appearing more frequently in the wild and in balloons throughout the event periods. I don't know how much are they going to spawn out. I'm not sure if it's going to be like one every single hour of the event, which is, again, it's only a 3-hour event, 11, 12, 1 and 2. Yeah, so it's a 3-hour event. Unless like do it like every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes, that would be probably a little bit better. For balloons at least. But in all honesty, out of this event, the most hype thing I'm more about is just the Team Go Rocket leaders and Giovanni.
I'm just going to say, it's very interesting to me that you'll be able to TM off frustration again. Yes. Super always happy when they do that. But it makes me want to get the new Pokemon during it and then get off frustration more than getting the birds, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. In all honesty, like I said, it's mostly about the Team Go Rocket events for seasonal players. I know a lot of other players will probably go for the raids. Again, we having the event, the news and the structure of the event early on, so we know what we're going to be focusing on. If you're a raider, you'll definitely do raids. I don't really care about the birds anymore. I have my shinies, I have my good V1s. I don't need hundreds of them anytime soon, at least. Unless like the surprise, like if this is like the biggest like slow roll to an event, and let's say just for the sake of things that they actually bring the Galarian birds into the mix, I will lose it.
I couldn't see it.
I know you couldn't.
I would love it, but I couldn't see it.
I know, because the only thing that they mention is the shiny birds, and I'm just like, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. But again, this is Pokemon, this is Niantic. You never know until we get it. We want to rant about
Find out an hour before.
Oh my god. Well, luckily we'll be at least have one, close to 12 hours differences between the ones in, Australia and things like that. So by the time we actually get to the event, we will know. But again, it will be incredibly awesome if we actually get the Galarian styles of the birds through the time. Maybe it's one of the big surprises from Pokemon States, and that will be insane. If we can get shiniest of those two, I will lose it.
Yeah, they're beautiful if you guys haven't seen them. They're shiny locked right now, but... Ooh.
Yeah, well, the shiniest of those birds in the Galarian forms are actually the same colors as the regular Kanto birds, so...
Yeah.
Again, shiny luck. So yeah, it's just one of those things. If my speculation doesn't go that far, we'll definitely be focusing on the Giovanni research and making sure that we can get to Giovanni as quickly as possible throughout those times of events. So, and then of course, don't forget frustration. That is a good move to take away out of Shadow Pokemons. So yeah, that is that. Definitely. All right, so I guess we get through all the news, but it's time to get to PvP. Get good, get wrecked. Here we go, Chris.
Oh, I'm ready, boy.
So
I was actually surprised by this too.
yes. So before we actually get into the drama, real quick, do remember Go Battle League is in its final stages of season 6. By the time the next podcast comes out, we're definitely going to be getting news about season 7. And good luck to everybody who wants to hit legends. Good luck to everybody who just wants to get to level 20, or rank 20. And then
Good luck in Kanto Cup. It doesn't count.
I know, right? That'll be fun. But yeah, that's GVL. Small little news updates. But then Chris, how about we talk a little bit of drama?
Oh my gosh. I found out through Twitter that there was a certain person. I'm not gonna say their name. You can probably find it if you dig through Twitter. But they were caught bragging, I would say, about how they got to rank 1 on the leaderboard, or like all the way at the top of the leaderboard, through dodging using a spreadsheet. So they would know which teams they'd be able to just win for sure, and they were able to get all the way to the top. This really made the streamers mad. It made all the people pushing for legend mad. It was not something they want to see. He got interviewed by Bloody Bananas on Twitch for an hour interview. He made a lot of jokes about how he didn't really think it was like a huge, like, serious thing. He did apologize, but I don't know how I felt about it. I'm always willing to give people a second chance, though. It's not even that you can blame him completely. It's sort of the system that Niantic has in place where you're able to dodge people you shouldn't be able to.
Right.
And it's stuff like this that makes people question, are we ready to be an esport? And a lot of people say no. A lot of people say no. Right. What do you think about it, Pure Letter?
Well, just like you mentioned, at least, okay, in the sense of GBL is a randomized, global ability to, go through people. If you are, definitely this person can only do it if they are in the Legends ability, so only 3,000 and plus in the rating. That makes more sense because there's not a lot of people actually in that place, so they know definitely that they're able to encounter most of the same people because they also want to go into like number 1 of the leaderboard. At the same time, I also want to say that it's kind of like a really cheaty way of doing it, because having to know the persons who are trying to get to top number 1 by normal means, and you're actually trying to just dodge most of the players out there, they're just gonna destroy your team anyways because you don't want to battle them. And I'm not sure how you're not battling them, because if you close out the game, I think you still could take a loss or something. But if you do it right away, then that's a different story.
There is a way to do it somehow.
Yeah, so it's kind of douchey to say that it was, that you're kind of doing that just to get to the top leaderboard, just doing the battles you're gonna win. It's always it should be only luck based. I know that GBL could be a little bit better in some sense, and I know people are asking for like practice matches and all that, so the ratings don't go out. However, to do that just to get to number 1, doesn't actually paint a good picture. And one of the things that we know, it is a competitive game. It could be esports ready in another sense. I just don't think that things like this just make a good picture for the game itself, if you know what I meant,
It puts us in a bad light, yeah.
Yeah.
He said that he stopped doing this. There's no way to prove that.
Yes.
But I don't know. I It really pains me to see stuff like this
Yeah,
happen.
I mean, people are grinding it out their own ways. They are, remembering how some certain matches go, but they're not remembering or writing down every single opponent when it comes down to it. I certainly have actually, seen the same team lineup multiple times when I'm doing the GVL. And whenever I see it, I'm like, okay, I know this is not a good matchup. Maybe I can work something out. And I have tried, to be able to win the bad matches because maybe there's something I'm missing every single time I do them. In maybe I need to charge up a little bit more or switch right away or things like that just help me out just a tiny bit better. But I remember those matches the most because I know I'm trying to beat them with the current team that I'm using. So that's the grind of the game. If you really look at it, I know there could be better ways of making GBL just a tiny bit better, but again, it's more about just the experience, the way that you'll be able to get to the top through the right means instead of just dodging people that that you get there out there. Winning is not. It's really not all about winning, and you can't be the best if you're doing it this way. So yeah,
it's ungenuine. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my my take on that at least.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I did also want to give a big congrats to Rise to Occasion. He did something just crazy. There is a tournament that Go Stadium hosts called Go Team Up, where you get with other trainers, 4 trainers altogether, and you battle against all the other teams, and you use like a point system to see who moves on to the next stage. So he actually made it to quarterfinals without losing a single match. He went through 10 rounds, or actually 6 rounds, sorry. It's 5 matches, I believe. And he went 30-0. He did not lose a single match going into the quarterfinals. If I was his opponent after that, I'd be peeing myself. He is insane. I'm super impressed with that.
And that's incredible. That is incredible when it comes down to it.
He's a very good PvP streamer.
Yeah.
So I'm super impressed with that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congratulations, Rise to Occasion, for such an amazing accomplishment. Hope to see you somewhere around, maybe in the GBL world, or maybe some other things. So we'll see. All right, so I guess we actually covered everything that we wanted to cover for today. Again, this last few days have been amazing. Next week is still going to be kind of insane. I know Chris and I will be going through a lot of Mewtwo raids until we get something.
Still no Hundo.
No,
gotta get it.
I know. Even through the race yesterday, it's incredible. But yeah, it's just gonna be one of those times. So if there's nothing else, Chris, to talk about, I do want to say thank you so much for everybody listening to the podcast, either through Twitch or any of our podcast services, either Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, any other ones, of course. Please, if you are able to leave a review, we will really appreciate it. And of course, you can follow up on our social medias. Pure Let It Go for myself, Pokemon Trigger Please for Chris. And then, of course, you can always email us, info@purifiedpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to talk about your days or anything like that, that'd be great. And then, of course, don't forget to follow us in the purifiedpodcast.com, the Professor Network. Real quick, before we end this, and before I let it over to Chris to end this here, we do have somebody new in the chat right now. And then just want to read through his thing real quick and say, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Oblivious. I hope that some future events will be better for you. We'll definitely see how it really goes. I understand your frustration. So it kind of makes sense in that regard. So I'm sorry about to hear that. But, it is the way of the game sometimes. If you want to talk more, join our Discord. We'll definitely talk about those things later on. All right? So, Chris, I guess it's time to take it away.
All right. We had a really fun time talking about the Kanto tour. I think the event, while it could have been better, I think they handled it very, very well. A lot better than Pokemon Go Fest.
Hmm.
I'm very interested to see what events they have planned for us. I want to see what that new Shadow Pokemon is, and keep grinding. Let's get to level 50, Pure Water. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, it's a grind, man. It's a grind.
all right.
Hope you guys have a good one. Peace out, guys.
Keep grinding, trainers, and we'll see you guys next week.